What does Disney and having a profitable business have in common? I've just spent a week here in Disney, and one of the things that I've learned is growing a powerful brand makes a massive impact, because when you're growing a brand, you're creating a demand. It doesn't matter where I'm going. My daughter's like, oh, I want to go on the Tiana ride. I want to go on the Ariel ride. I want to see Mickey Mouse. I want to meet Minnie Mouse. And it's interesting because when we start a business, we never really think about the impact of what a brand can create. Now, when you're creating a brand, what happens is you don't actually create income from it, but what happens is it supports the sales of your business that you make. If you're starting a business or growing a business, then you'll find that it's all about creating sales, but it's also about creating the demand at the same time. So what happens is brand creates the demand, and then the affinity to your products and services come from the brand that in return cause sales. Now, unfortunately for most businesses, they can't wait 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months to make sales. They have to make sales now. So one of the things that's really important when it comes to growing businesses and starting businesses is that if you look at all the things that Disney do, Disney create films.
She'll merely be your stepmother.
Disney makes most of its money from media, not necessarily from the parks. Reports state that it costs over $20 billion to run all these resorts. But if you look at how many people come through, in the last research that I did, there are 58 million people that come through the parks. So if you look at 58 million times how much it costs for the ticket prices, are they making a profit? Most of the profit comes from the media outlets. It's just actually a genius business model, because, for example, when the new Disney movie comes out, my daughter sees it and she'll be like, oh, Daddy, I want to go and see that. So mommy, daddy, and daughter and their friends need to come and see it. So for every one ticket, you're getting 5 ticket sales from that. Then they advertise Disney resorts. We've spent some time here over the summer holidays. As I'm going through the parks, I'm going on the rides, but I'm also paying attention to is how their business model is incorporated into it. For example, we went on this ride called the Star Wars Resistance, and it was incredible because the way they did it is kind of like a user experience. So again, no spoilers here, but it feels like you're actually in the film. So if you ever watched any of the Star Wars movies, my personal favorite, Return of the Jedi, it's got all the different feel, and it's also even got a specific, like, you go and have a look at it, you actually see the Millennium Falcon built. And so when you go into these sets, you feel like you're involved in it. And how does this apply to business, and what has it got to do with this video? As I'm traveling around the world, I look at how these businesses are created and how the businesses kind of intertwine. And if you look at the whole Marvel saga, what's happening, you look at Deadpool, for example, you look at Deadpool with Wolverine kind of connected together.
Are you ready?
And it's one of the biggest opening weekends for an R-rated movie. Why? Because you have two strong brands. I mean, Wolverine being a really strong brand, but Deadpool by itself, could it pull in the box office? Probably could. But what happens is when you combine it with another powerhouse, it's not 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = 11. And then what's happened on the back of that, they all planned their launches pretty well. For example, if you look at when Deadpool and Wolverine came out, the announcement of Robert Downey Jr. coming back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm excited about this as well. But you look at, they're riding the momentum of things. And of course, the time of recording this, during the summer period, where do people want to go the most? They was always, I want to go to Disney World, I'm going to go to Typhoon Lagoon, I'm going to go to all these different Universal Studios. I know it's not part of Disney, but it's in the same place. Here's another thing as well. So being here, just talking about Universal just as an aside, if you go to all these different parks, what you'll find is to either take a bus to the different locations or you're going to take a monorail. What they don't know is you can actually take an Uber or a Lyft. Disney has allocated spots for rideshare, which is sponsored by Lyft. But Ubers can go into the Lyft because Uber and Lyft are kind of competitors, right? But Lyft sponsor that area where cars can come and pick people up, but Uber is able to use it. Why? Because Uber has also the pickup area in Universal Studios. If you look at all Disney Universal, they're all kind of in the same place. Anywhere between like a 20 and 30 minute ride. But again, what is the lesson here for business? The business is collaboration. If you've ever been to Disney, you've seen the fireworks, and then at the end, when it finishes around 9:45, everyone's trying to get back. Even getting from the park to your Disney resort that you're staying in can take up to an hour because there's just so many people. But what a lot of people don't know, that you can actually take a Lyft or you can take an Uber. And a lot of these places have the rideshare areas. So as a little tip, you want to save some time, make sure you use the rideshare areas. Another little strategy as well, which I think is incredible. This is a classical upsell strategy. When you come to Disney, of course, there's a lot of people. So for example, we're queuing up anything from 30 minutes to 75 minutes per ride when you look. And some rides, you can't even do a fast pass. In Disney, they have something called a Genie Pass. You pay for the Genie Pass. But on top of that, there's a fee to go on a ride. So you pay for the ticket to go into the park, and then you got a ticket where you can shortcut the queue. On top of the Genie is you pay a separate price, then you can basically turn up and walk through and then you're on the ride. So if you think about it, it's always these tiered models. You got this low, medium, high ticket. It's kind of like economy, business, and first class. And in every single business that you're incorporating, you need to start thinking about some of the ways that this is incorporated and implemented into your business. Because if your business only sells one thing and you're not doing any collaborations and you're not creating any branding, it will affect your business, because the branding gives you the awareness, because people are aware of your product. Next time you launch something, for example, a new Disney movie that comes out, my daughter now wants to go and watch it. In fact, I want to go and watch it. A lot of you may not know this, but I used to be an animator. When I come to Disney, I'm like even more like, wow. But it's not just that. You look at all the franchises they build, all the brands that they build and how they connect it together. So when Marvel came out, Marvel then got acquired by Disney for a lot of money. And then what happened is they started creating all the brands off of that. And now when you come to Disney, you've also got Marvel superhero rides that you can go on. There's just so many things that interlinked. And you know, Star Wars franchise, if you go to Hollywood Studios, of course, the classical Tower of Terror, like you've got branded rides, but you've got unbranded rides. When I'm going to theme parks, and again, for example, when I went to Universal, it's the same business model. They use media to get the awareness. So all the rides, like the Harry Potter rides, Hagrid ride, which is, by the way, amazing. You got the Spider-Man, you got the Transformers rides there. You want to go on those rides because you have an affinity with the brand. And one thing I noticed as I started walking around the park is you start to hear the music. So when you go into the Transformers ride, you hear the theme tune from Transformers, and what happens? It creates that nostalgia. It's what we call anchoring. So you want to create some kind of noise or sound that can anchor your business. For example, if I was to go da 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 da, you would say, I'm loving it. That's kind of like the McDonald's theme, right? It anchors the sound. It's same when you go into these theme parks, you also get those sounds anchored. So you start to remember. When you're going on the Tiana ride or the Ariel ride, the Little Mermaid, you hear the songs. My daughter will start singing the songs as well. The reason why I'm kind of giving you these different business analogies and some things for you to think about is how can you create more awareness? What media content pieces could you create and put out there that people can consume when you're not actually selling anything? So when you do finally come to offer your product and service, people then buy the product because they become associated with that product or service. And here's a great thing about this as well. There's this saying that says you want to market in public and sell in private. Market in public and sell in private. So what does that mean? That means that you want to be able to get to a point where you're learning all these different methodologies to be able to attract the audience to you, not necessarily to offer your products and services. And then if you want to monetize that, then the next thing you want to do, you want to then filter out. So there's a strategy I call raise your hand marketing. As you go through all the parks, there's always a constant call to action to upgrade, but it's not in your face. It's like you're walking around, you see a massive queue. Would you like to take light? So they have two queues. You have normal queue that's got the timer above it, 75-minute wait, or you've got Universal, you have Express, or in Disney, you have Lightning Lane. And here's another thing as well. In business, we use something called a wait list. Disney now, they have a wait list for the queue. So all because you buy a ticket to enter the park, some of the rides, you actually have to put your name down to say that you want to queue. It's insane. And it's funny because I thought, okay, maybe this is going to be some kind of like fast pass. So we put our name down and we still had to wait 38 minutes to get on the ride. It was crazy. So I was like, that's like a normal ride. But here's the thing. A lot of people enter the park not necessarily to go on the rides. They come because they want to see Mickey. They want to see the parades. They want to see the fireworks. I get that. I like me. I love the rides. And when you are looking to start or launch a business or a product, you want to create some kind of launch list that can actually help you grow your business, that gets the demand first. So then you're not having to scramble around trying to think about who should offer things to, what products or services might or might not sell. You already know, for example, the Tron ride. So I was a little bit annoyed actually because we paid for these tickets. And by the way, the Tron ride is amazing. Again, as soon as you enter, you hear people screaming, you hear the soundtrack from the film Tron. If you haven't seen the film, it's a great film for those of you if you're into the sci-fi stuff. As we show up, then the ride is closed, or it's temporarily unavailable. So we drive all the way to Epcot Center, and another great ride is Guardians of the Galaxy. So again, why is that ride so good? Because first of all, when I enter, for example, if you look at all the apparatus, all the ships, all the props from the movie, they're all there. Now, the key to this is that as you walk in, it feels like you're part of the movie now. So for example, all the Guardians of the Galaxy, the real actors from the film, they actually appear on screen and they're talking to you. you, right? So it's kind of like, hey, we're on this mission, we're on this mission, and you get in, it's crazy. And then it feels like you're a part of it. And here's the thing, if those actors wouldn't have been the real actors, there would have definitely been less connection. So in business, you got to start creating some connection with your audience. And that connection could be some kind of interaction. It could be a series of ways that you're connecting through multiple mediums. In Guardians of the Galaxy case, as you're on the ride, it plays the music from the film. When you're in the ship and you're on the mission, it plays that music. So it reminds you of the time when you're in the ship. And of course, Rocket is talking to you, Star-Lord is talking to you. And it's just incredible the way they've seeded this in. One thing I love about Disney is they really got the user experience right. A lot of you watching this, when you're starting a business, you may be able to have things that can actually go up in value, things that go down in value, but the thing that can all make your business go up in value, you can't always compete with marketing, with sales and things like that, but the one thing you can compete with is the customer journey, the customer service. And we can all get better at doing that. My key to all of you is to start thinking about how can you improve things, how can you make things better, what could you add to create a bigger brand, what could you do to get more awareness, importantly, what ways can you start creating these join lists so you already know people who are interested in those products or services. By the way, if you know anyone who's starting a business but they're struggling, do me a favor and share this video with them, because it'll give them some insights on how to actually grow and scale that business. Also, if you have any questions as well, you can leave some comments below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button, because I'll be uploading brand new videos to share with you how to grow businesses, how to do investing, how to multiply your income, and more importantly, how to create more passive forms of income so we can have more time, freedom, and financial freedom. Hope you enjoyed this, and check out this video here as well.